Yes, Hickok 45 here, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee, the home of who? Chet Atkins. Oh my gosh, I mean, so many people, Jeff Quinn, Davy Crockett, Greg Allman, and we're here too, and now you are here. Yes, and it's blooming out, isn't it? Trees, leaves, bushes, weeds, ticks, everything. I just came out of some really deep woods, so I probably have ticks all over me. I'll shoot this 44 Magnum Anaconda, 2021 Anaconda, and scare the ticks away. How's that? Blast them away. Let's just take a shot. Woo! Huh, bullseye, man. That was some power. Let's hit that. Well, let's knock the bowling pin off first. Boom. You have to hit it, don't you? And now let's hit the plate. Wow, a lot of power. Must be a 44. Well, let's just go ahead and reach on out to the gong. Miss it a couple of times. There's one miss. There we go. We rang that thing. I'm so dumb. I adjusted the sights just before starting this video, if that's what this is, because I've been shooting this and doing some videos, and there's just a little tweaking. Downward, well, not downward, but it was shooting just a tad low maybe when it got out there at range, and I just remembered we kind of thought it might be going a hair left, not sure. I didn't mess with that. It's fine, but whoever gets it on the e-gunner auction can mess with that. If it's you, I think the elevation is pretty close now, but it's real simple to adjust. It might shoot just a hair left, not sure. Which would mean, if it is, for you, you would need to move the rear sight to the right. Well, you know the rear sight is to the left. A fair amount in that slot, so maybe it does need to come right just a little bit, just a little screw there. I would mess with it and see what you think. I think some of the misses I was getting, we did a big game hunt where we're low. If I missed a little bit low, and then I think some of them were going just a hair left, and I thought they were going low. So I had a few misses on that big game hunt, but it was fun anyway. Got to shoot more. The more I miss, the more I get to shoot. Yeah, that's my strategy sometimes. But anyway, this is the new Anaconda, the 2021, and you'll be seeing a video on it. I like it. I like it. As I said in the video, well, for one thing, it is the 2020 Python blown up. All right, that's kind of what it is. Sorry, Colt, if I don't get that exactly right, but I think that's kind of in the Colt verbiage. They really just blew up, made it bigger, the 2020 Python. So if you think the 2020 Python is okay and pretty nice, you'll like this, because it's same smooth action. I think it's all the same kind of action and everything, and it's pretty cool. As I said in the video, you people who are experts on pythons and anacondas and other snakes, I think the original pythons, they were a cut above the anaconda. Okay, it took them forever to come out with the anaconda, large caliber python basically, but it really wasn't a python. It was not as smooth. They didn't put all the polishing, I think, internally or externally on the Anaconda. It was a nice revolver. We did one not long ago, but it wasn't a lot to write home about other than being a 44 or a bigger caliber, 45 Colt, whatever all it came in. It was nice, and they're very expensive now, the originals. But it's not because they're like a python, just smooth as glass, the ultimate revolver. The Anaconda was not really the ultimate revolver, and not meant to be, I don't think. So now fast forward to 2020 with the new Python. which you may not like some things about it, but it's really smooth. It has a nice action. Okay, you know, I won't rehash our videos on that. I was fairly surprised and fairly impressed with it, other than that first hitch we had with it. Smooth and not bad looking, you know. They probably couldn't offer it in blue, you know, and do all the polishing and all that kind of thing, but they did it in stainless. So anyway, this is a nice gun. It might be nicer than the original, the Anaconda is what I'm getting at. This might be a better Anaconda than the original, okay? It seems to me it is. I may be wrong. But now when you take the 2020 Python, I'm not sure you can say it's better than the original Python. You know, there might be some advantages with a simpler action and things like that, but not many people say, oh yeah, this is better than the originals. But this might be better than the original Anaconda, not better than the original Python. All right, you follow any of that? Do I make any sense? Probably not. That's okay. So here we are. I don't know what else I gab about. Yeah. Did you see what else I had at 30-06? Somebody suggested this week, I guess there was a comment on last week's Sunday shoot around, then I get out the Model 70 for Sunday shoot around number 70. And I thought, well, that's a stupid idea. No, I didn't think that. I thought, well, twist my arm, and here it is. Yeah, it doesn't take much. Whenever somebody reminds me of a firearm I like, to get it out again. And newsflash, if it's a firearm I have bought, generally speaking, it might be a firearm I like, right? Does that make any sense to anybody? Especially if it's, you know, a fairly expensive firearm. Now it could be some polymer pistol, it was $300 or something, and generally don't buy them just to review. Sometimes I do. Or I keep them for that reason, buy them and shoot them a few years, and or I'll actually tend to hang on to them because we might compare this with something else at some point, so I don't let them go. One of these days, I'm going to let a bunch of my guns go when I quit doing this, okay? And yeah, what have I got on that? Oh, nothing. It's just natural wear. But anyway, I do have a lot of firearms. But yeah, when you buy it, I wouldn't have bought this if I didn't like it. How's that for brilliant, right? I tend to just find them. People lend guns to us, newer ones, and I'm not going to buy an expensive vintage gun just to do a video with it, probably, okay? It's probably because I want one and I like it. You know, that doesn't mean I don't sell a gun occasionally or trade something that I've had a while. I don't like that. It's like it's. I don't remember those, not scratches, but there's just kind of. I think I need my rag and my battle saw here. This gun is too pretty to. Anyway, I guess that was on there already. Just a little bit of a blemish, ever so slight. Why in the world would this rifle have a blemish? Yeah, I mean, it's almost brand new. It's made in, what, 1940, right? So that's been a couple of years, but not that many, right? 40, 80 years, is that right? Yeah, wow. 60, yeah. Well, yeah, 81 years. Oh, man, that's hard to believe, isn't it? That's the thing about firearms. If they're taken care of, they just last a long time. And not just because it's wood and steel. It could be polymer. It could be a Glock 19. I've got Glock 19s I've shot. And 100 years from now, they'll be cranking just like they do now. 200 years from now, probably. Unless somebody gets a hold of it and, I don't know, tortures it or something. They're just pieces of metal. And I've lived long enough to sort of appreciate that. And I had guns long enough, like my Model 29. That, you know, I've shot about 75,000 times, and I've had it since 1974, and it's just fine. You know, I've had a little work on it, but it's just fine, just as accurate as it ever was inherently, and that's one I have shot a great deal, you know, not just periodically and have, you know, maybe 2,000 rounds through it. If that were the case, it would be essentially like new and look like new. So, excuse me. So anyway, this is my pre-war Model 70, made in 1940. I know people in other countries don't like that pre-war designation. Yeah, pre-war for who? We were at war, But oh man, a beauty. And I didn't bring any clips over here, but this one's the one I've shown you in the main video. It loads by a stripper clip. It's a commercial gun, So just like an .03 Springfield, you could go to war with it, right? So, what a nice one. So why don't we shoot the thing? You want to? All right. So anyway, here I am, and let's take a shot. I haven't loaded it, and I'm gonna put some big 30-06 rounds in it. Holds 5. No, I like the feel of them going in. I use a clip sometimes, but I couldn't put my hands on the clips for it right away, and I thought, oh, so what? You don't need those. I just want to shoot the firearm. You see how long it takes to load, and it's terrible, right? I think I usually put a butt pad on to give me a little more length, but we will forego that today and see if I can see anything. Well, not to hit anything today. All right. How about a red plate? Oh boy, smacked it. Hit that other one. Smacked the heck out of it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, even though it's a hooded front sight, I think I need to get my white paint out and work on that a little bit. Well, that gallon jug is asking for a 30-06 round. If anybody ever asks you if 30-06 has enough power, you know what to tell them, right? How about an orange 2-liter? Man. How about, I think the coffin can withstand one. Yeah, 30-06, 1940. Nothing like a good old bolt gun, and especially one that has some experience and age. I've shown you, maybe I'll remember to link into the first video on this or something. It says 30 government. Yeah, 30 government .06. That's the designation on the barrel. They quit doing that. They just 30-06, later, but old Model 70 is such a good feeling, shoulders well, and it's close to that Bavarian Seiko that I have. It'd be between these two, I guess, in terms of which one just feels the best, and if you could hit anything you want to hit with it. So just a beautiful rifle. Many of you have a Model 70, or you have had a Model 70 and are sorry you traded it off, right? And that's the way it goes. We've all done it. We're all guilty as charged on that sort of thing. So what's trending on Twitter? Let's talk about it. Funny, like I would know what's trending on Twitter. Like I would care what's trending on Twitter. It's amazing how many people's life probably revolves around that. What's trending on, well, YouTube, Twitter, or whatever it might be, on social media. Pretty sad. In fact, I don't know, I did a posting it's been about a week ago, I guess, almost, on Instagram, the Real Hickok 45. And I was posting a picture. I was in a market around here. It's in Clarksville, and I just, man, I'm so pleased with these people. Every time I come in, for the last year, they just kind of go about life as normal, and you can show your face and all that. And so I just posted a picture and mentioned that, how no connection to the company or whatever. There's 6 or 8 of the stations around where I live. the area in the vicinity. And yeah, I don't know. About 2 hours later, like Instagram it doesn't work, locked up. Can't do anything with it. It's weird. So I think the powers that be are watching over us and taking care of us. So no big loss. I rarely used it, but oh well. Anyway, but a lot of people do live their lives based on all that, what's going on social media. And of course, that's where the idiocy is for the most part, isn't it? So you got to make sure you don't get too caught up in that and let that rule your life, because it is where it's where not only where the idiocy is the most, where idiots come out of their hole to post, but also it has a tendency, as we all know, to turn the best of us sometimes into idiots, at times. And so we get to watch that, not really the real world, right? That was one of the things in terms of any advice I might have with for young people. This would be for anybody, but try not to be obsessed like with all the craziness in the world and the talk about race and just everything. Get obsessed with all that. The world is better, I think, than it's ever been. People are more open-minded than they've ever been. And I've said that before many times. It's my experience. It's most people's experience. I think it'll tell you, thinking people will tell you, there's really less real bigotry as you move around during your day. You just don't encounter that very often at all. It's just like way less than like 50 years ago, 40, 30. People are just more enlightened, than they used to be. You just don't, people take others as individuals. Get this. Most people, like me and you, we tend to judge people by the content of their character, by who they are, right? Their personality, not by their hair color, skin color, shirt color, size of their feet, how tall they are, how short they are. Really, most people are beyond that, right? Unless you are in the business, media, a company maybe, you make a living out of keeping things divided, unless that's what you do. It's how you get your clicks, it's how you get your votes, your attention, by keeping people, at least the appearance that people really are divided. That way I can offer them a solution, or I can save them, or I can fix things for them. Just vote for me, send me money, or whatever. That's where it comes from. There's an agenda, right? To get elected, stay elected, promote their program or whatever it might be. When in reality, we're more enlightened than we've ever been. Now that might change with enough of this craziness if it continues for, I don't know, a decade. People can also be kind of shallow and when they're young and they go, oh, really? Is that the way it is? Yeah. I mean, a lot of people can fall for it, hopefully not. But anyway, that's my advice. Just try to ignore all that stupid stuff. Somebody is trying to get money, votes, clicks, attention, one way or the other, right? They're going to do it. They're going to get attention. They got to have it. And especially in the world we're in today that is great for all the technology, but everybody, including ourselves, we're doing things where we want some level of attention, right? I mean, John and I didn't start out for that, but it's nice having viewers and being able to do what we do. And in everybody who is posting on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, YouTube, it's to share something you hope people will watch, and a lot of people will watch, and some people go crazy, go overboard, and become a different human being, in an effort to get attention. And I don't know, it's just a weird world. So anyway, these are great guns. I mean, it's a good day when you're shooting 44 Magnum and 30-06, right? And guess what else I have shot this weekend? Arrows. Went up to Twin Oaks. It's the Tennessee Classic at Twin Oaks, Bow Hunters Club. And it's a huge traditional archery match, 3D match, I think the first weekend in May, last weekend in April, every year. and usually it's rained on, you know, but it's pretty nice this weekend, Friday and Saturday. The rain will be back, but yeah, really neat. If you ever done that before, it might be something you'd have interest in. I haven't brought the bow out for a while, have I? Need to do a video or two with it, and I keep thinking for another Sunday shoot around, we'll do archery, and I haven't done that for a while, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah, you walk through the woods, kind of redneck golf. You know, you know how it goes. You know, you've seen the 3D targets by now. Most of you, if you're in a sporting goods store, you know, the rubber-looking, foam-looking coyotes and deer and bears and everything else, turkeys, and they set them up out in the woods. And up there, I think there's about 500 acres, a lot of trails and hills and around, and so they're set up all over the place, deep back into the woods, and lots of animals. And you got a stake you shoot from, you know, depending on what class you're shooting. You know, like you got a pee-wee class, young people. I think there's a men and a women's. I don't know. There's a lot of different, you can shoot in different classes. We generally just shoot for fun and don't even keep score. But you can shoot from wherever you want, you know, if you're doing that. Chase your arrows and go hunt arrows from wherever you want when you miss. But it's a lot of fun if you never tried archery. And I like that traditional archery. That means a recurve longbow or a hybrid longbow like mine, hybrid longbow. It's just fun if you just shoot and practice enough to get just a little bit of skill. It's like throwing darts, shooting a pistol or anything. You have to work at it a little bit to develop enough skill for it to be fun, and then it's just fun, and you don't lose it. You just do it. Or you can shoot compound bows. That, you know, most of the shoots you can shoot both. You know, shoot that either one. And you know, most of the time when we go to one, we probably go to 3 or 4 a year. My buddies and I, we're shooting with people with compounds most of the time. You know, people ahead of us on that squad or whatever, they're shooting compounds, or the people behind us, we're shooting traditional bows, or vice versa. It's just a variety. This particular shoot is a traditional shoot, and it's only for stick bows, you know, wooden bows and whatever arrows, you know. They got different regulations. I think if you're shooting for a prize, you want your score to count. I think you have to shoot, if you're shooting a long bow, I think you have to shoot wooden arrows maybe. I don't know, but if you get into it that deeply, you'll know. So anyway, that's a lot of fun. I enjoy that. And then I come home and pull out a 44 Magnum. So, you know, whether you like the old Colt Python or the Anaconda or not, you almost have to admit they're just pretty, right? They're good looking firearms. There's just nothing like that rib. Let's put the ears on it. Why did I load that thing? Okay. That means I have to shoot it. That's all right. Let's pop something here like steel. Boom. How about a hog? This is a hog gun, if I ever saw one. Wow, rafting. Man, nice blast. Oh, cowboy. Oh, cowboy, I think I missed him. Yeah, this is pretty neat. And as I point out in the video, it really is not bad on recoil. Even though it's 44 Magnum, it's the barrel is a little heavier than the Model 29 Smith that I have, because you have that underlug and the rib and all that, and so you get a little more weight, a little more heft to the barrel, and you know, it's comfortable to shoot, and with these rubber grips that come on it, it's not bad, not bad. You can put any Python grips on it too, or sights, Python sights, whatever. So it's just like, it's a big Python basically. So pretty neat if you're looking for a 44 Magnum. I find it a pretty cool gun. I wouldn't mind having one, just like I need another 44 Magnum. You know, the thing with Colt, whether you like Colt or not, this is a nice gun. You don't have a key lock. In terms of new guns, I think I said this about the what was that gun? The King Cobra or something. When you look at the new Colts, you do not have a sleeved barrel. You don't have a key lock. You have a revolver that's pretty much made the traditional way. It's forged stainless steel and one-piece barrel and all that. It's a little bit like going back in time, I guess. With so many new firearms with newer manufacturing techniques, like with Smith & Wesson. I know there's the argument that they're as good or better than the old Smith & Wesson revolvers. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with the old Smith & Wesson revolvers. A lot of people they find the sleeved barrel and, of course, the key lock offensive, things like that. So those are kind of big deal. Those two things are really a big difference, in that classic revolver. If you're kind of picky, a little bit traditionalist, but with a revolver like this, I don't know. You got stainless. I'm not sure the original Anacondas came this polished. That one we had from Simpson Limited, was it? It was more of a brushed stainless. Better not make a 44 Magnum out of aluminum, I don't think. So this is a nice revolver. Especially if I were not such a die-hard Smith person, and I was looking at I want a big 44 Magnum. Not too big. I don't want a 12-inch barrel or anything like that. I just want a nice big old 44 Magnum that'll absorb enough of the recoil. Like if it's a Smith, a 6-inch at least, or a Colt, same thing. This would be a viable choice, and it's one you should look at, I would say. You should give it a try. I don't know how many of these kinds of things. I always say that. Go to a rental range and rent all the guns you can, if you're thinking about buying one. I'm not sure. I know some of them have revolvers, but I don't know how many would have something like that. A shooting range tell me that you go in there and, I like that Model 29 44 Magnum, rent that one, or something like this, or not. Most of the time it's semi-automatic pistols, but I don't know, some ranges of machine guns and everything else. So pretty cool. I'm trying to sell you one. Don't care. It's just I kind of like it. I like it. So what else was I going to shoot? Was there anything else you were dying to know about? Probably not. John was supposed to let me know about his comedy. I'm not sure what's going on. He didn't text me, so I'll blame that on him. And one thing I still had a note on when I was talking about Guns of the West and the large loop lever guns, and how that was all Hollywood and everything. There were other things too that always comes up in discussions about why they use certain rifles and certain handguns, and some things don't make as much sense. That for that movie that these were available, probably why didn't they just use those, or they were cheaper, whatever the case might be. And I think sometimes, and I don't know, some of you, if you've been involved in the movie business or the Westerns productions, you could answer this maybe. I suspect that there was probably kind of a standard, like a lot of things, the blanks. Because you used to use blank. Now they use CGI for a lot of that. But back when they were using blank cartridges, I think maybe some guns handled it better, and they were more available for some calibers. And then those calibers were more common in certain types of firearms or something. I think that might have been part of it. And then too, some revolvers handled probably those blanks better than others. Blanks have to be pretty powerful, because if you didn't know this, when you fire, it's this empty case, when you fire this, here's another piece of information I should be charging you for. Oh man, when am I going to learn? No. When it fires, you really can't see it, but there's a case in there. It recoils against that recoil shield, backs against that, of course, and it flattens out. But it flattens out the primer. And the primer has a tendency to want to just push out of the case. Does that make sense? From the force, the pressure. but it flattens against that recoil shield pretty much, so that's why you get that flat back, Well, especially with a powerful cartridge. With a blank, you don't have that, 240 grain bullet going out the barrel, hopefully. And so it relies just on the power, kind of just the force of the explosion or the blast, from that blank powder. And so I've made my own, so I became an expert on this. I remember years ago, I thought I'll make some blanks just for the heck of it, So I put some powder in. I was hand loading, it's simple enough, and then stuck a wad down in there, got a primer in, fresh primer, fill up a half powder or whatever, normal load, stick a wad or some whatever, cleaning cloth, something in there to keep the powder from coming out. Shoot it. I put 6 in a revolver one time and shot it. Excuse me. And it was hanging up. The cylinder wouldn't turn. Because why? Well, it wasn't enough power to flatten out that primer. The primer wouldn't have wanted to protrude. It just pushed the primer back out some. And it was hanging up, on the recoil shield. Excuse me. Allergies. I'm out here in the woods. And so you really do need a certain amount of power and force to make that work. And maybe with some revolvers it's worse than others, that it just hangs up more easily and all those kinds of things. So you got all that, involved with the Hollywood. I'm sure some people could speak to if they were involved with that. The other thing too, I like to mention, in so many Westerns you see these guys carrying 2 guns. You got a double rig with 2 holsters. And of course in cowboy action shooting, that's what you carry almost always. And but that's because when you go up to the stage to shoot, you get more shooting in mainly. Okay, you got 10 shots with handguns, then you got 10 in a rifle, and you got a couple maybe with a shotgun, so you get more shooting per stage under the clock without having to reload or anything like that. So that's a lot of the reason for that. Cowboys, people back in the West, back in the old, very, very, very few would have carried 2, pistols, 2 revolvers. I mean, wow, even carrying 1, and if you're working and you're doing things and you're wrestling cattle and stuff, you're generally not going to even have it on, okay? They would probably have just had that in their saddlebags a lot of times. Handy, maybe, but just depends on what you're doing. A gun, if you don't know it, a Colt single action is not quite as heavy as this, but a big old chunk of iron, in a holster, it's often in the way, it's heavy, it's hanging on things and all that sort of thing. And, unless you're the town sheriff, or you're in a dangerous territory and that kind of thing. So they might not even be wearing one, even if they could and had it around. You see the big belts loops full of bullets and a Colt or whatever it is in a holster. There's a lot of weight. Now those rigs are better than the guns you and I wear. If we put this in a holster and hang it on my belt, even a good belt, it is different from a cowboy rig. Cowboy rig, the belt right that wide, it's not through your loops, it covers a large area. So, and if it's up high enough, it's not as bad as you might think it is. The weight is kind of dispersed, but it's a lot. To carry 2 pistols, I've done that a lot of days, all day long. No, not because I'm a weirdo, but at a cowboy match. Okay, we're there all day in the hot sun, hot weather, and it's a load. You're worn out by the end of the day because you may shoot 6 or 7 stages of fire, but that really only amounts to about 3 minutes of the day. So you're waiting the other time, you're picking up brass for people, you're helping out, but you're there, and it's a grueling day. I think I've lost 5 pounds some of those days just through water, carrying things. I do it, and some people can't do it. I've seen people just have to go find a shade and sit down and having a hard time with it. Some old guys like me or something. But Yeah, it's a lot of weight. And so generally speaking, you watch Hopalong Cassidy or whoever it is. Of course, he's sort of playing a cop a lot of times, but or not helping the sheriff or something. He's running down bad guys. Just just a lot of weight to lug around. The average cowboy or anybody else would not be doing that. And then they wouldn't be wearing it down. We've covered this before. Down on their knee. The higher you can get that gun up, the less problematic it is. Get it up on your belt, and it doesn't bother you as much. Okay, needs to be high up on your belt, and then you're in better shape with that. So I want to talk about that because there are a lot of you. You're just filled with these misconceptions, right? And dispelling myths is one of my jobs. So, anything else you wanted to know about? I probably don't know anything else you wanted to know about. Try not to keep you as long today. But, and was there anything else you wanted to know about the trip? Anybody have any questions about that? Yeah, I don't know. I gabbed too much about that. But that was a nice trip. Good to be home, but that was a great trip. If you missed last week's Sunday shoot around, what's wrong with you? Yeah, made a big loop out through the west and back, and oh, that's true. I think at the time I was talking to you, I wasn't sure the Tucker Carlson thing, the promo. Some of you saw that and commented. I was a little nervous about that. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't as awkward as it felt, So that was okay. Now I talked enough about that last week, but that is something that anybody who has done videos knows what I'm talking about, or anything like this, maybe for your work or whatever it is. It's been my observation that doing videos, whatever it is, it usually feels more awkward than it really turns out to be. Okay, something to keep in mind. Might give you a little more confidence. It always feels like I don't know, there's times when you can't think of what to say next maybe, or you're looking for the right word, or you forget something and you have to think about it to get it back into your brain, whatever it might be. It always seems a lot longer. I mean, wow. When you look at the video that you recorded, whatever it's on, it's okay, all right. It wasn't brilliant, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And that pause felt like an eternity, was really not. It was almost just normal. Yeah, so just something to keep in mind. And I think it also helps you relax a little bit, knowing that you can just kind of be yourself and not worry too much about it, because you're going to pause. You're going to have to try to think of, what was I going to talk about, or what was I going to say next, and that sort of thing. And it's usually not as long as it feels like. I've done videos, John too, where that was bad, it was awkward, or that whatever, and you look at it and you say, well, no, not really, it's okay. John has bailed out. I get on to him. He doesn't do that as much anymore, but when he does a video or two a month, and I'm recording, of course, and it would be, I don't know, 5 minutes in or something, and I'll start over. John, it was fine. It was fine. So, but it always feels worse than it is. Sometimes it might feel really bad, feel really awkward, and it might actually be really awkward and really bad, and you might not care, like me. So anyway, that's a little inside baseball information that maybe you can use, okay, when you're doing whatever it is you're doing. I remember doing with a company I worked for, they wanted me to do a sample interview on a topic with somebody, and this is going to be dumb. This is going to be so dumb. As I was doing it, I felt really stupid, like it wasn't going well at all, But they wanted to use that as an example, I was like, are you kidding me? And I don't know, just something to remember. So how to get off on all that, I don't know. But like right now, what am I going to talk about? Nothing. I need to just shut up and move on. I hope that you're having weather, something like this. I mean, this is great. Spring here, Now I know if you're, depending on where you are, if you're in Death Valley or somewhere, it's not like this. Uh, but beautiful time of year. Temperatures aren't too extreme one way or the other. And like I say, you do have ticks and all that kind of stuff. And I spray like crazy. Like a morning like today, went out early and knew I'd be in the deep woods, and you don't have as much control over where you're going to be. Like today, messing around the place, on a given day, I kind of think, what am I going to be doing today? Am I going to be mowing or bush hogging? Am I going to be deep into the woods? I got trails. I'm generally not going to be fighting my way through bushes most days, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't take that to get ticks around here. A lot of ticks. Like walking in the grass, you get them. So I use Avon. Really, I always smell so good. If you're not familiar, is it Avon Skin So Soft? I've been using that for like 40 years. Soldiers use it. A lot of people use that. It doesn't kill ticks and mosquitoes and all that, but it deters them. They don't like it, which is good, and it doesn't really hurt you. Sometimes I think I'm a little allergic to it. When I get it on my legs and in the sun, I get an itchy, weird thing, but generally speaking, it doesn't bother me. And I put that on my feet and legs and everywhere, and my neck and my arms. Before I get dressed in the morning, I know I'm going to be out at a place like that, archery shoot, and maybe my hair, my neck, because they drop out of the trees. They're after you. You don't have to be paranoid. They are after you. And so I spray deep, in my legs and pants, and so they smell me coming. At least they may get on me, but they're gonna have to pay the price. It's not gonna be a desirable. They're gonna have to pay it to get to my blood. Okay. And what I was gonna say, you can go to these archery matches like that in the woods. You don't know where they have an animal set up, fake animal. You don't know how many weeds there are. Getting to it to get your arrow back. And then also, if you miss, guess what? Your arrow, you may be fishing around in a lot of weeds and leaves trying to find your arrow. So that's just the way that is. So you'd better be well doctored up, this time of year. But then again, it's like extreme cold weather or something. If I know it's going to be really cold, but I want to be outside and doing some things, maybe doing one of these. Well, I know it's going to be cold. I can check the weather, the temps. They usually get the temperatures about right. They don't always get the rain right, but they usually get the temperatures pretty close, on the forecast. So I know I'm going to stick my long johns on, my thick long johns, and wear 3 shirts or whatever I'm going to do, because I want to be outside and not be, it's cold, I don't want to be freezing. So I just dress for it and then go on about my day. And, it's not that I'm a baby, maybe I am. I just dress well, and then I don't even have the opportunity to whine or be a baby. I just go on about my day, and I'm fairly comfortable. Same with like today. I overdo it on all the repellents and everything, and then I just go on and enjoy the match. I don't really worry much about the ticks. I volunteer. I go look for someone else's arrow. I'm not worried about the ticks. They're probably not going to get on me. Famous last words. And so anyway, just prepare like a good Boy Scout or Girl Scout would. Are there still Girl Scouts? Are there still Boy Scouts? Are there still any Scouts, right? I don't know. World is changing fast. So I'll leave you with that. Yeah, a lot of things are changing. A lot of things are trying to be changed. It's up to us and you and everybody to resist anything that's too crazy, anything that doesn't make sense, anything that's against real science, things that just are foolish. It will be foisted upon us. It will be foisted upon us if we do not. That's just life. Okay, so most people, I won't say nobody, most of us don't like to be troublemakers. No, we don't. But yeah, there's such a thing as civil disobedience. Thoreau wrote about that. And we need to keep that in mind and not allow things to be just pushed on us that make no sense, right? And that's just been a truism through time, right? And always will be, because there's so many people, unfortunately, who like to control everybody else and think they don't just think, they are convinced they know better. They know what's better for you and me, than we know. And yeah, we could be subject to all sorts of foolishness, right? So it's up to us to make sure our life is semi-normal. Yeah. So we all know life has risks, a lot of risk, and that's just the way it is. So hope you get a chance to shoot something. And you know what? I don't know that I shot I don't think I shot the Model 70 enough. Then I'll let you go, okay? Am I recording? Yeah. Unfortunately for you. Yeah, let's shoot this again. Oh man, 30-06. Like I say, it's so easy to load a nice bolt gun, like a Model 70 or a Mauser. You can use the clips, but you don't have to. And I kind of like punching them down in there. It's nice. And these are 150 grain full metal jacket boat tail. I guess not necessarily the best hunting round, but they're great rounds. I don't know, maybe they are. When you got a bullet like a 30-06 moving at the speed it's moving and the power and everything, a rifle round, for those who don't know it, it gets most of its effectiveness from sheer velocity. Okay, like a 5.56 is a good example of that. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna reach out, see if I can hit this target right here. Got it in the red. Whoa, what an accurate rifle. What an accurate rifle. Let's do a little bowling. I barely caught him on the edge. Whoa, knocked that one off. Yeah, after I talked about all the power, that bowling pin barely falls off. Let's swing this one. Yeah. And we've got a 2-liter with 1 round left. What if I miss? It'd be embarrassing, wouldn't it? Don't worry about being embarrassed. I am an embarrassment, right? So don't worry about that. Oh man. Yeah, man. Good old Model 70. I think I confessed maybe in my, I don't know, one of the videos. John has a newer Model 70, super grade. It may have been in that video I confessed my sins, being a shooter for so many years, so many decades, and never, oh yeah, that's right. I lied. That reminds me, I lied. I said that I'd been a shooter all these years and had never owned a Model 70. I just remembered that. And I don't know if I ever corrected that or not, because I don't know, I just had forgotten. I actually did have a Model. I think I put it in a different category, I guess, because it was a 458 Win Mag, right? I flirted with one of those. I owned one of those for about a year or 2 years, probably 90s, early 90s, mid 90s, I don't know. And then I sold it, traded it for something, but I just totally forgot about that, in one of these videos. So whenever I say I never owned one, I was lying. Well, I wasn't lying. I just forgot that I actually had one. That big bruiser, that was a Model 70, Winchester Model 70. It wasn't a classic, it was a new one, But so other than that one, I didn't grow up with one. I didn't have one in my early days of shooting. I had a Remington 700 BDL back in the 70s. Bull barrel, but I just didn't have a good old Model 70, in 30 caliber of any kind, or 270, or any of those popular, hunting rounds. It was only later in life that I got a hold of that 458 Win Mag, that I forgot what it was. It slipped my mind. That's why sometimes when I make a comment in a video about, yeah, I've never shot one of those, or I've never fired an Anaconda. Have I? I don't think. Because when you mess with guns as much as we do, sometimes you might really just slip your mind. Where maybe it wouldn't with you. Well, two things: you're smarter than I am, and then also maybe you haven't shot as many different guns. You're not always shooting, that sort of thing. But I might have been somewhere, and somebody handed me one to try out or something. I just forgot about that, because I do shoot a lot of firearms. Okay. But I try to tell the truth. I don't want to be telling lies, making up stuff. If I ever do, it's accidental, like that, okay? It's based on an accident. It's based on stupidity, senility, okay? Alzheimer's or something. So anyway, pretty cool rifle, Model 70, 30-06, 30 government .6. And that's just a beautiful piece of wood, and a really nice rifle. I like that, and I appreciate whoever it was recommending that I get it out for shoot around Sunday shoot around number 70. Okay, the good old Model 70. We typically don't do enough of that, I guess. People you'll see a comment, so, well, you should have, it's your whatever 30th of this, or some significant number, or it's posted on some date, or it's on April Fool's Day, you should have done all that kind of thing. And we don't do a lot of that. We should probably do more. We do enough foolishness. This is enough foolishness, right? Sunday shoot around. So again, a lot of people, I see comments, well, where have you been? Or, great to see another video from you, or something like that. Oh, really? Where have you been? Where have you been? You been in prison or something? 3 or 4 videos every single week, okay? 3 or 4 videos every single week. Repeat after me, 3 or 4 videos. So if you get unsubscribed, and I know I rely on other YouTubers, they're constantly reminding you that you get unsubscribed and you got to ring the bell or whatever you have to do. But a lot of people do get unsubscribed and seem surprised that we post. We're posting again. We're posting more videos every week. We don't miss a beat, So come out and check out what silliness we're doing. I hope you saw the videos this week, if I remember. The Mark 18, and John's Mark 18, that's a nice little AR pistol. It's pretty cool. What else? I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on what else we posted. But we've posted, 2 or 3 videos, this week. And we will post more, okay? I'll probably post this one, even though there's not a lot of sense being made, brilliance being made, sense in terms of S-E-N-S-E, not C-E-N-T-S. Maybe both, right? A lot of videos are demonetized. I know it's just, I don't know what the logic is, because videos that are the same. It's funny to go back to the Sunday shoot-around videos. Some are monetized, some are not. There's like no real difference. What would be the difference in terms of threat to humanity, right? Risk to somebody's sanity who watches. So anyway, I better let you go. And I don't have any big announcements. I hope to be home now for a while, and should be out here every Sunday. Yeah, I should be here every Sunday, okay? So y'all take care and have a good week. And again, you don't know how much we appreciate you just coming to watch and allowing us to do this as a job, quote unquote. It's just really, really, really nice. So appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you later, and I'll be around again to insult you some more, no doubt about it. Life is good.